Another new D&D video game is on the way, and D&D Beyond adds a brand new class.
But now you have my attention.
Today, we've got a double dose of D&D news with Hasbro providing an update on some unannounced video game projects and the illrigger making its way to D&D Beyond. Now, before we dive into those stories, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons to support our brand new independent news channel. Bloomberg News recently spoke to Hasbro CEO Chris Cox about Hasbro's ongoing shift into the video game sphere. Cox mentioned that they plan to invest $100 to $150 million into video games annually, and reiterated that they plan to release 1 to 2 video games annually starting in 2026. Now, the big news for many gamers is that Hasbro is working on an unannounced D&D video game project, and is also looking to bring the Commander Magic the Gathering format to digital. Also, Hasbro is looking for ways to add to digital collectability to Magic, not in an NFT sort of way, but rather like Marvel Snap or Pokemon TCG Pocket. Now, many are guessing that the unannounced D&D video game project is Baldur's Gate 4, but we are a bit doubtful. For one, that is a game that Hasbro can't really afford to mess up on, given how much money BG3 made for them last year, and this year too. Cox is a lot of things, but I doubt he'd want to ruin a cash cow by turning it over to an unproven internal studio to save some cash instead of partnering with a known quantity. The Commander news is also a bit of a well duh moment. Commander is the most popular format for Magic. There are a ton of products that Magic can cross-sell digitally with it, and it opens up a more casual format that isn't as infinitely frustrating as Standard is, and also lacks the burnout that MTG Arena seems to promote with its cycle of constant new releases and whatnot. In other D&D news, D&D Beyond has added MCDM's illrigger class, with 5 subclasses, 8 new spells, and 2 magic items. Now, this marks only the second time that D&D Beyond has put up a third-party class on their service, following Critical Role's Blood Hunter, which was added years ago as a free-to-play class. Now, the illrigger is definitely not free to use. It costs $14.99 for the package. Now, for those who haven't heard of the illrigger, it's basically an elite servant of hell that utilizes seals to inflict extra damage on opponents and inflict other debuffs on enemies. Because it's an MCDM class, using the illrigger requires a bit more planning and attention than something like the fighter or the barbarian, because seals can also act as a kind of resource that can be spent on other abilities as well. While the illrigger is primarily a martial class, some subclasses add spellcasting functionality as well. Now, the timing of the illrigger is interesting because it was a class designed for 5th edition. 2014 5th edition, that is, not the more recent rules revisions that Wizards is pushing heavily. On the one side, it's a little bit weird that Wizards, a company kind of notorious for its inability to expand past its original 12 5e classes. After all, when's the last time you heard about Artificer support? Actually, it's probably coming sometime in the next year or two. But anyways, now Wizards is leaning on other companies to scratch that itch for players. Of course, on the other hand, players were already using the illrigger anyways because there weren't new classes for D&D 5e, so I guess it's a good thing that now they can use D&D Beyond to do it. Might as well get a piece of that pie, Wizards. Anyways, that's our double dip of D&D news for the week. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.